topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from experts on such topics as legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to our experts in community association law, estate planning law, tax relief, Medicare, public insurance adjusters, neuropathy treatment, business brokers, and personal injury law, along with many other topics. Now here's your host for the last 17 years, Steve O.
Morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we always bring you the finest experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. This show we're going to do this morning with you has been running so long with us. We used to open the show and say, "Good morning, Tampa." And the show became so popular, we changed it to Good Morning, Florida. Well, now the show is so popular, now we just say good morning because we modulate this show throughout the country. We do it twice a month, the first and third Monday of the month at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We are so lucky to have Ray Ferrara with Provisor Management Group. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Stephen. So good to be with you, and what a marvelous weekend celebrating our 250th birthday or anniversary, depending upon how you want to look at
it. Exactly. It was absolutely amazing. I actually stayed up for the fire. Well, I wanted to hear the president speak, but I really wanted to see the fireworks. I've never seen fireworks like that before in my life. It was definitely well worth it staying up. But, you know, I got to tell you, Ray, we had a person who contacted us. We're now on TikTok now, and a gentleman contacted us. And people would tell me that TikTok is a very young audience. And I didn't believe it because a lot of the platforms on TikTok are for a more mature audience. But this gentleman who said, I have been listening to podcasts for years, and he said, I really want to know what's going on in the world of money. He said, I found your show on TikTok, and he said, I got to tell you, and I never write in. He said, I got to tell you, your show you do with Provisor Management Company, he said, management company, is the best show I've ever heard. I just wanted to write that in. I wanted to surprise you with that, Ray.
Well, that's very nice to hear, and hopefully we'll continue to get good comments coming our way.
Well, you know, it's like say we're the letters we're getting from TikTok are coming from, I would call maybe 45 up, but anyhow. All these new people, Ray, I hate to ask you to do this again, but tell people about Provisor Management Group.
Well, thank you, Stephen. And I never shy away from talking about our great firm. Provisor Management Group is a firm I founded 40 years ago next month in August. And today is a financial planning and investment management firm that is serving about 1,200 clients. Scattered over 30 plus states and managing about $2 billion on behalf of those clients. We have a great staff of about 34 people, 14 of whom are financial advisors and all of whom are CFP professionals. And having a certified financial planner is very important because we're required to provide financial advice at a fiduciary standard of care. And we believe everything is centered around a financial plan. A lot of people call themselves financial planners, but all they would really doing is gathering assets and not really doing true planning. And we see financial planning as the nexus of everything that we do. And of course, anybody who listens to our show, no matter where they're located in the United States, they're entitled to a 1-hour consultation, complimentary with me, not somebody else in the firm, but with me directly. And all they have to do to take advantage of that is to give us a call at 800-633-3049. That's 800-633-3049. And just say, I want to set up a meeting with Ray, and we'll get it done. So hopefully people will take advantage of that 1-hour complimentary consultation.
Ray, I constantly brag on you about your predictions. And listen, nobody is 100%, but I got to tell you, I love the way you predict things, and there's so many of them that come true. So at the beginning of the year, you made a lot of predictions about the coming year. And you said inflation would probably come down to 2.5%. So how are you feeling about that one now?
Oh, sure. That's the prediction you had to start with, Stephen.
Yeah, but you're right so many times, though.
Well, obviously, inflation is running much hotter than 2.5%. Hopefully, it'll drift back down during the last part of the year. But I'm afraid the prediction that we said that inflation would be running at about 2.5% on a year-over-year basis at the end of the year probably isn't going to happen. And obviously, most of that is a direct result of the price of energy having gone up following the war with Iran. So thanks for bringing it up, Stephen. You know, it's one of I said at the beginning, the only prediction that I made is that not all of these predictions will happen the way I said they would. That's certainly one of them at this point.
Well, I got to tell you, does what's going on in Iran have anything to do with this at all, Ray?
Well, sure it does. I mean, with the cost of oil, natural gas having gone up as dramatically as it has, one of the predictions that I made relative to the price of oil is that before the year was out, that the price of oil would be up 10%. Right now, the price of oil is up a little over 19% year to date. So even though the price has come back down since the ceasefire or the pause or whatever it is that you want to call it occurred, it's still dramatically higher than where it was when we started the year. Assuming that Iran and the United States are continuing to have conversations that will be meaningfully productive, then we ought to see the price of oil continue to come down as that relationship stabilizes and the Straits of Hormuz find themselves open. The big concern, of course, at this point is, what's going to happen next. The Iranians are having a large funeral over multiple days for the former supreme leader. They seem to have hardened their stance a little bit. There's probably 3 potential outcomes. The first is that things break down and we go back to a fighting war. I hope that doesn't happen and don't think it will happen because really both sides, for a variety of different reasons, don't need that to happen. In the United States, they got the elections coming up. The president wants to declare victory and move into the midterm elections. From Iran's point of view, their economy, which was not in good shape before the war, is in terrible shape at the moment, and they need to try to rebuild the economy back up. The second option And the one that I think is probably most likely, at least in the short term, is that since it's a 60-day ceasefire, is that they'll extend the 60 days. I think the Iranians would like to extend it beyond the midterm elections without coming up, but with a peace deal. And I think the United States might be willing to do another 30 or 45 days, but clearly it's in the best interest of the president to get it done, as I said, before November. And then the last is that, they actually come to a total peace. And that would require Israel probably to sign off on something as well. And at the moment, that particularly since it would probably involve Lebanon, is not nearly as probable to occur. So until we get that peace deal done, the price of oil is going to still have a premium attached to it, and that is in large measure what's caused the problem with inflation.
Ray, I bet you I got at least 10 questions just in the last few days when they saw your show was coming up. People don't understand what it means about prices, oil prices in the global market. They keep hearing the president said we have plenty of oil, but the prices, I don't know about Tampa, I'm here in South Florida, but it goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. I mean, at least it is below $4, but it seems like so many people don't understand that. Can you explain that?
There is no question that the United States is self-sufficient when it comes to oil, and it is an exporter of natural gas because we have so much of it. And yes, it's easy to conflate the fact that we are energy independent with why there are higher prices, and the reason is it's a world price. It's not just a United States price. It's what other people are willing to pay for it. And oil and gas companies obviously are going to sell to the highest bidder. And when people are short of energy, they're going to pay more for it. And we saw oil get up into almost $120 a barrel. Some projected that it would go to $200 a barrel. Thank goodness it didn't do that. And so that's why the prices are going up, because there's competition for the product. And when you have a limited supply with an insatiable appetite for energy, the price is going to go up. I will say this. It still amazes me that at the beginning of the war, the prices shot up when they were selling gasoline that had been bought at before the war prices, but they raised the prices anyway. And now that the supply might be coming back online over the next 60 or 90 days, my bet is that prices are not going to go down as fast as they went up at the beginning of the war.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about Bitcoin.
My prediction on Bitcoin at the beginning of the year, Bitcoin was selling in the upper 70,000s, having come down from a high of, I think it was like $125,000. Its low point at that point was about $65,000 within the previous 6 months, and the prediction is that Bitcoin would set a new 6-month low before it would start to move back up again. And that was anything but a slam dunk. But within 3 weeks, Bitcoin was down below $65,000, and it's been there several times since. So that prediction has come true. Whether the other side comes true, we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see if it would start another upward movement. It's tried several times and then stumbled and fallen backward. But as you know, we just are not Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency believer as an investment. If you want to have it as I got to have it just to say I own it, fine. Make it your Las Vegas money. We've said from the beginning, there's no way to value what a Bitcoin is worth. It's just, it's whatever somebody's willing to pay for it.
Right.
And we as financial advisors, when we can't figure out what we think the future value of something might be, we're not going to speculate on it. And while we certainly have a couple of clients that have purchased it for their own purposes, we have not recommended it and have no plans to recommend Bitcoin to any client to be even in small and unmeaningful part of their portfolio. It's a waste of money and our time. You may as well be betting on a lot of other things, because that's what it is. It's just gambling. It's just a bet.
This is from TikTok. This is a great show. Thank you so much. I am curious. You probably get a lot of phone calls during the day from clients. What would you say is the biggest question your clients have today?
Wow, there's so many things they could be asking questions about. But I think clearly the major question that we hear most consistently, shy any questions around the war itself, which we have no control over or no real views on how it's actually going to end. The biggest question is around interest rates. I mean, we went into the year thinking we were going to have 3 rate cuts. We had said there would be 1 rate cut before Powell left. That didn't happen, and probably 2 after the new chairman came in. That's a prediction that's probably not going to pan out any further, because right now it looks like at best interest rates might find their way to drift up rather than down. And so I think the biggest question, particularly from our business clients, are, what's the direction of interest rates during the course of the rest of the year? At the moment, we think there'll be at least 1 more increase to occur, or there will be 1 increase that will occur between now and the end of the year. The chairman has been very vocal about his dislike for inflation. And the only way you're going to get inflation out of the system is to raise interest rates and reduce the money supply. And I think he's going to try to do both of those things between now and the end of the year. But that's probably the question that we get more than anything else. What do we think is going to happen with interest rates?
Okay. So we're talking a lot about predictions today on the show. What about IPOs?
Now thank you. There's one we hit a home run on.
I told you, you're right most of the time.
Well, we can thank Elon Musk for a lot of that with the IPO of $75 billion for SpaceX. The IPO market had been very small the last couple of years, and it was so small, in fact, that a lot of great companies were not coming to market because they felt that they were better off staying private, which deprived most investors, from being able to own companies like a SpaceX, or potentially Anthropic, which is saying it's going to do an IPO sometime this fall. And we said that we thought that there would be about 500 IPOs and a total of somewhere between $100 and $150 billion of money raised this year through those. Slam dunk, that's just about over. And again, thanks to the $75 billion from SpaceX. So I think we're going to see more IPOs. We also said at the same time that we thought more IPOs would come through NASDAQ and other exchanges besides the New York market. And so far that has been happening this year. So that's another prediction that we made that seems to be flourishing at the present time.
How about, I know that, I guess on July 4th, the Trump accounts became effective. What do you recommend people with children? Do you recommend they look at this?
So the short answer is yes. I mean, any chance that you have an opportunity to save money and to do it on a tax favorable basis is a good idea, and one that should be given serious consideration. But the Trump accounts, and we'll talk about the money aspects of it in just a moment, but the Trump accounts, I think, have a really significant added benefit that really isn't directly about what the money might earn. And that is that as the money is being invested, and it must be invested once you open the account, it can be invested at $5,000 a year by anybody, essentially. And in fact, employers can give an employee up to $2,500 for deposit into a Trump account. And that $2,500 is tax deductible to the employer, is tax free to the employee, and the money is not subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes. So it's a win-win-win from a tax standpoint. Personal contributions are not deductible; they're paid with after-tax dollars, but the money will grow tax deferred. And this is going to give, so far, a little over 6 million accounts have been opened. It's going to give each of these children a share of the great American free enterprise system, and that they'll learn from an early age about long-term investing, not these meme investments, not the gambling, all this other stuff that's that many people are speculating on, and can create a meaningful amount of money over time. Now, at 18, the money converts into a regular IRA type of investment. And at that point, money can be taken out to help pay for part of a college education up to a certain amount. That can be used to buy a first home, which would also be good, up to a certain dollar amount, which is woefully too low at the moment, needs to be raised, and hopefully that will happen. It's taxed at that time when it comes out. And if held to retirement, is going to be a great way to have started. I tell everybody the best dollar you ever invest will be the first dollar you invest, because it will have the longest period of time to allow compound interest to act on its behalf. So yes, I am a believer in Trump accounts as another way to save. It can be argued that putting money into a 529 plan first may make more sense because the amount that can be taken out of a Trump account for education is much smaller than what you could take out of a 529 plan. And that's why, again, we believe in financial planning rather than just talking about investing money, which obviously we do since we're managing about $2 billion. I want to remind all of our listeners across the country that if they would like to learn more about Provise Management, they can certainly do that by going to provise.com. That's PROVISE.com. Or give our offices a call at 800-633-3049, and we'll set up a complimentary 1-hour consultation with me, not one of our other advisors, and be happy to see if we might be able to help them after that. If we're not able to help, we'll tell you that, because we always have to keep your interests ahead of our own, and perhaps we can refer you to someone who can help you if we can.
And Ray will be back again with us in 2 weeks at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Ray, thanks again. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
That'll be great, Stephen. Take care and be well.
Love you. That's Ray Ferrara, Provise Management Group. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.